term for this. Okay, got it. Okay, so actually there are some terminology for autonomy learning. So first of all, of course, we start with understanding the theoretical concept. So belief, concept, practice. You may say philosophy, you may say principle or a theory or concept, ya. Jadi dari konsep kemudian praktek. Kok prakteknya begitu? Karena teorinya begini, gitu Bapak Ibu. Jadi segala sesuatu praktek di kelas itu pasti ada teorinya. So we'll start with some of basic theoretical concept that underpin autonomy learning. And then, of course, you are expected to understand about what is actually autonomy learning. Ya, binatang apa sih yang disebut dengan learning autonomy or autonomy learning? Ya, and then why autonomy learning is important? Mengapa di era sekarang ini, pembelajaran modern sekarang ini penting sekali kita membahas tentang learning autonomy? And then, of course, when we talk about learning autonomy, it is quite relevant with learning strategy. As we know that learning strategy is one of the factors that contribute for the success of second language learning. Jadi, Bapak Ibu, learning autonomy ini ada hubungannya nanti dengan learning strategy. Jadi beda Bapak Ibu kata learning dengan teaching. Kalau teaching strategy Bapak Ibu it might be related to methodology, research method, approach ya, pendekatan pengajaran. But learning strategy is basically related to what learners do. Jadi strategi yang digunakan oleh pembelajar dalam rangka untuk belajar itu. And then the last is you are expected to be able to help students become autonomous learner. Jadi setelah Bapak Ibu paham itu dasar-dasar, kemudian bagaimana relevansinya, bagaimana karakteristik otonomi learning ini, kemudian in the long run Bapak Ibu you can help your students to become autonomous learner. Jadi bagaimana nantinya kita bisa membantu anak didik kita itu menjadi pembelajar mandiri. Karena ini sesuai dengan zamannya Bapak Ibu. It's totally different from the past ya. Learning autonomy is quite currency when we talk about education in 21st century. Bapak Ibu, background, okay? I will start with background, especially dealing with traditional education. Traditional education, not only in Indonesia, yeah, in different countries, especially in the third world countries. In some part of Indonesia, of course, it's quite diverse, yeah. Indonesian conditions diverse, and some part quite traditional. In other part of the country, there are some educations which are quite modern. That's conditions of Indonesia. Okay, so we observe that students lack autonomy in learning, and then they tend to become dependent learner. Jadi anak didik kita itu udah kecenderungannya adalah bukan autonomy learning, tetapi bukan memiliki otonomi in learning, tetapi mereka dependent learner. They tend to be silent, they are not actively involved in activities, etc. That's common, yeah, but not all, of course. They do not ask things, they do not understand, they do not know during teaching learning process, or during the break they just commonly use the time to enjoy themselves, chatting, rumpi, gitu. Ya, biasalah, pemandangan biasa, tetapi tentu saja tidak semua anak ya. Dan this kind of thing we can categorize as dependent learner. Bukan autonomous learner, but dependent learner. they rely heavily on the teachers. They cannot make decisions about their own learning. The students also commonly do not know their strength and their weaknesses, karena jarang ya kita tuh mengorek-ngorek kekurangan diri sendiri. Kalau kita dibilangin kekurangan aja kita langsung jenggotnya kobong kamu jadiin jenggotnya kobong ya. Okay, so it's not quite familiar for us to identify the strength or the weaknesses. Of course, dependent learner do not understand that aku sih apa sih sebetulnya, kekuatanku apa sih, kekuranganku apa sih, ya. And then think that the teacher, so everything dependent on the teacher, and then believe that the teacher is responsible for their learning. Yeah, if they are not expected, you do this or you do that, they just keep silent. They do something only just because the teacher asks them to. Do. Okay, they do not plan setting the goal. Yeah, they do not connect the classroom to the real world, and then usually just motivated merely because of the grade, because of the award. Yeah. And then they do not reflect on their own learning. So reflective, ya, kita tuh kadang-kadang sebagai siswa ya, memang pernah sebagai siswa ya begini nih ya rasanya sebagai siswa dulu ya, SMP, SD, SMP. Itu masih seperti ini, quite dependent on the learners, quite dependent on the teachers. Ya, we have our own initiative to learn. Ya, okay. Well, Bapak Ibu, we start with the principle. The principle, co-autonomous learner, dasar-dasarnya dari mana ya? Okay, so the major principle of learning, you understand this. Bapak Ibu pasti sangat you acquaintance with behaviorism, cognitivism, humanism, constructivism, connectivism. Ini adalah learning theory, Bapak Ibu. Karena apa? Kita membahas learning, maka dasar-dasar prinsipalnya adalah dari theory of learning. So, if I say it is state of the art, of course, yeah, it's belong to yesterday, belong to the past. Dulu begini tahun 50-an, kemudian cognitivism, humanism, constructivism. Nah, this is the currency, connectivism. It doesn't mean that everything belong to the past, it's not good for us. But of course, we have to understand the characteristic of the learners. We have to understand the what is it, the learning goal, yeah, the condition, etc. So we may choose which principle that will be suitable for our practices. Jadi begitu ya Bapak Ibu, yang namanya state of the art itu perkembangan. Perkembangan apa? Kalau dalam hal ini adalah perkembangan teori belajar. Apa itu belajar gitu ya? Maka beda-beda. Teori belajar from behaviorism is different from cognitivism, humanism, constructivism, and connectivism. Just a bit. Nah, ini Bapak Ibu, belajar tuh begini ya. Ini the owner of the knowledge adalah Pak Guru. Ini kita ya, students, okay. Kalau cognitivism, okay, so dependent on what is it, the process in the mind. Learning is the process in the mind, yeah, synthesizing, criticizing, analyzing, understanding, yeah, the process, all mental process, all mental activity. Kalau humanism, Bapak Ibu, bagaimana? Humanism focuses more on what is it, the affective, yeah, the affective part of the student, especially that students have feeling and emotion. Jadi manusia itu basically memiliki perasaan. Jadi Bapak Ibu, kalau humanism itu kita sangat menghargai rasa. Bagaimana siswa senang gitu ya, senang, termotivasi, mereka they have their own potential ya, to grow ya. Masing-masing siswa itu memiliki potensi. Oleh karenanya, the only things that the teacher do is to develop their potential. Maka guru sebagai fasilitator dan sebagainya itu ideas dari humanism. And then Constructivism, okay, this the currency of constructivism of learning, that is, learning is actually constructed by the learner. Yang namanya belajar itu ya mengalami, yang namanya belajar itu ya melakukan, bukan hanya mendengarkan dari Bu Guru, Pak Guru kayak behaviorism tadi. Oke, belajar itu mereka melakukan sendiri, they discuss with their friend, ya. What about the teacher? The teacher also, what is it? They become facilitator, ya. Okay. They learn each other because they are supposed to construct their own understanding. Yeah. So the most important thing in constructivist is that learning during the learning process, that the student should have the learning experience. Jadi harus mengalami, and secondly interaction. Jadi ada dua, mengalami dan melakukan interaksi. Interaksi dengan siapa? Interaction with the teachers, interactions with other peer, ya. Okay, so that's it. Nah, sekarang connectivism, Bapak Ibu. Connectivism mungkin saya gambarkan seperti ini, bahwa kalau dulu zaman behaviorism, ya, the sources of information is just come from the teacher, but not now. Bapak Ibu, ini dot ya, gambar ya. Kalau ini gambar ini adalah gambar otak kita ya. Kalau gambar sekarang ini bahwa ini information, learning information ada di mana-mana. You just open the internet and then you can find a lot of knowledge there. Itu. Jadi semua sudah ada di internet Bapak Ibu, tapi belum masuk di dalam otak kita gitu ya. Makanya sekarang ini dunia belajar ini bagaimana yang ada di internet, ya tentu saja tak ada semuanya. Bagaimana kita memahami bahwa all the information is already there in the internet. Okay, so we can use the internet for the resources, we can use for the internet for communication, like what we do today. We can use the information in the internet for learning management, etc. Ya, the idea is that ya, belajar itu tidak hanya mesti dengan sekolah di sini, dengan di luar sana, dengan everybody all over the world. That social learning, ya, social learning. But then understand the social, it can be the virtual world. Ya, dunia kita ini ada dua, Bu. Bapak Ibu, ya, ada dunia ini the real world, ada dunia the virtual world. Ya, so let's make the global village right now. Oke, Bapak Ibu. Ini tadi.
You have 5 minutes more.
Oke, ya Allah. mau 20 menit, baru 5 menit sudah ini. Sedikit lagi, Bapak Ibu, ini another teori adalah pedagogi, andragogi, eutagogi. Kalau pedagogi ini teacher directed, andragogi student directed, nah ini eutagogi, Bu, Bapak Ibu, self regulated learner. Jadi ini kita sekarang udah pada posisi pada eutagogi, oke? Pedagogi, andragogi, eutagogi. Ini Bapak Ibu. So this is it, the conditions of learning right now. This is pedagogy like behaviorism, Bapak Ibu. This is the teacher and then the learner. Yeah. So teacher-centered learning, everything dependent on teacher. Andragogy, it's what is it? More student-centered, yeah. Student-centered, self-directed, teacher as facilitator. This one eutagogy, Bapak Ibu. The eutagogy, we as a student, ya, students responsible for their own learning. Ini yang independent learner itu begini, responsible for their own learning. Okay, they can have access of their own resources. So what we do, ya, teacher can be a learner, can be teacher, teacher can be learner. Okay, so it's common for us that what is it? Teacher and learner are working together. Yeah, so this is the represent what is it? The eutagogy, Bapak. Eutagogy, okay. Eutagogy. Okay, sedikit lagi Pak Mujazin. I'm so sorry because I will talk about the autonomy learning. Ini Bapak Ibu. Nah, bagaimana dong autonomy learning? Ada beberapa system, call it system, ada beberapa terminologi for autonomous learner. For kalau orangnya autonomous learner, pembelajarnya namanya otonomi ya, pembelajaran mandiri, learner responsibility, self-directed learning, learner autonomy, lifelong learning. Ya kita tuh kan belajarnya lifelong learning. So Yutagoji lifelong learning. Yeah, it's quite connected. Learning to learn. Sekarang itu eranya bagaimana kita belajar untuk belajar, Bapak Ibu. Maka disebut sebagai metakognitif. Learning to learn. Learning how to learn is much more important than being taught by the teacher. Gitu, ya. Jadi tugas kita adalah mengajarkan siswa bagaimana belajar. Learning to learn. Autonomous learner, self-instructed learner, individualized learner. Oke, learner autonomy teorinya dari Dam, ya, kemudian dari Benson, ya. Oke, so autonomous learner, they are ready to take charge of their own learning. Yeah. Okay. From Noonan, there are level of autonomous learner, awareness, etc., engagement, intervention. Mungkin ini kita usah saja ya, because of the time limit. Oke, ini Bapak Ibu karakteristik of dependent learner. Ya, tadi kalau karakteristik of independent, nah, ini independent. Oh no. Oh ya, ini tadi sudah ya, dependent learner. Ini karakteristik of autonomous learner. It's the other way around. The opposite of dependent is, ya, dependent, independent. Okay, autonomous. Knowing their own learning style, self-reliant. Okay, can make informed decisions about their own learning, know their own strength, know their own weaknesses. They can take the responsibility for their own learning. They make plan and setting goal for their learning. Connect the classroom with the real world. Motivated by making progress, not motivated by reward. Okay, on punishment and reflect their own learning. Biasa reflect.
Ma'am Indah.
Huh? Oke, ini saya selesaikan. Oke. Ya, terakhir Bapak Ibu, developing learner autonomy. Terakhirnya ini learning strategy ya Bapak Ibu. Oke, jadi ini hubungannya dengan learning autonomy adalah learning strategy. We have ada learning strategy, ada metacognition, metacognitive strategy, ya, merencanakan, cognitive strategy, ya, ini socio-affective strategy, ya, ini Oxford Taxonomy. Oke, terima kasih Pak Mujahid. Oke, terima kasih Matur nuwun Pak Mujahid. Hopefully, there will be a session of QA. Sekali lagi Bapak Ibu, jadi otonomi, learning otonomi dihubungkan dengan learning strategy. Mengapa? Dengan memiliki learning strategy yang banyak, yang kreatif, maka siswa akan menjadi pembelajar yang mandiri. Begitu.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Ma'am.
Oke, terima kasih. Semoga bermanfaat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Of course, there are many questions, but the time of for question and answer is after all presenters. So thanks, Ma'am Endang, for the knowledge shared to us about the developing learner autonomy in foreign language learnings. To know more about these topics, Ms. Endang will come at the end of the session. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we are coming to the second presenter. He is Dr. Muhammad Thayyibi, Magister of Science. Mr. Thayyibi, are you ready?